She had $200 in her hand, a broken heart in her chest, and a family wedding in 2 days. She did not have a boyfriend. She did not have a plan. She only had one idea, a crazy, stupid, dangerous idea that she posted online at midnight when she was tired of crying. She needed a fake boyfriend, just for one night, and a stranger said yes. He was polite. He was tall. He showed up on time. He smiled at her mother. He held her hand. He did everything right. But there was one thing she did not know. One thing nobody told her. The man she paid $200 to pretend, the man she brought into her family's home, the man her grandmother held hands with, was not just a stranger. He was the most dangerous man in the entire city. He was the Mafia boss. And by the time she found out the truth, it was already too late, because he had already decided he was never letting her go. Stay with us, because this story does not end the way you think. The ad. Her name was Layla. She was 26 years old. She had soft brown eyes, long dark hair, and a body that the world always had something to say about. Not kind things. The kind of things that made her cross her arms when she walked into a room. The kind of things that made her feel like she was always too much and never enough at the same time. She lived alone in a small apartment. She worked at a bakery. She had 3 good friends, 1 bad ex-boyfriend, and a mother who called every Sunday with the same question. Layla, are you seeing anyone? And every Sunday, Layla said no. But this Sunday was different, because this Sunday, her cousin's wedding was in 2 days, and her entire family would be there. All the aunties, all the uncles, all the cousins with their husbands and wives and babies. And Layla, alone, always alone, would sit at the corner table and smile and say she was fine and she was happy and she was not sad at all. She was very tired of saying that. So at midnight, she opened her laptop. She made a post. She kept it simple. Needed. 1 fake boyfriend. 1 evening only. Family wedding. Must be polite and decent. I will pay $200. No strange behavior. Serious people only. She pressed post. Then she closed the laptop and went to sleep, thinking nothing would happen. She woke up to 49 messages. Most of them were jokes. Some of them were worse than jokes. She deleted them all one by one until she reached the very last one. It was different. No jokes. No questions. Just 3 lines. I will do it. I am available. Tell me the time and the place. His name was Dante, the stranger. She met him outside a coffee shop the evening before the wedding. She wanted to see him first, in a public place, with people around, before she made any decision. He arrived 3 minutes early. Layla saw him from across the street and stopped walking. She had imagined someone average, someone normal, someone who needed $200 and had nothing better to do on a Saturday night. She had not imagined this man. He was tall, very tall, dark suit, dark hair, a face that was serious in a way that most faces are not. Like every expression he had ever made was on purpose. Like he never smiled by accident. Like every word he said, he had already decided to say. He saw her and walked toward her. Calm, steady, like he owned the ground under his feet. Layla, he said. Dante, she said back. They stood there for a moment. She was waiting for him to say something strange, to give her a reason to leave. He said nothing strange. He just looked at her and waited. She handed him the envelope with the $200. He took it and put it in his pocket without counting it, without even looking at it. That was the first moment she thought, something is different about this man. They sat down. She talked. She explained the rules. His fake name was now Dante Rossi. They had been together for 4 months. They met at a bookstore. He worked in international business. His family was from Rome. He liked coffee, not tea. He had no pets. He listened to all of it. He asked no questions. He remembered everything. Any problems? She asked at the end. 1 question, he said. Okay. Why don't you just tell your family you are single and you are happy that way? Layla was quiet for a second. Then she said, because they won't believe me. He looked at her. Really looked. Like he was reading something behind her eyes. Then he nodded slowly. And he said nothing more. The wedding. The wedding was big and loud and full of love that also had edges. Her aunties hugged her and said you look so beautiful, and then looked at her waist. Her cousin smiled and said we missed you, and then immediately looked at Dante. Her mother found her in the first 5 minutes and pulled her aside and whispered, Layla, where did you find him? He is gorgeous. Bookstore, Layla said. Her mother nodded like that was the most normal thing in the world. Dante was good. She had not expected that. She had expected someone wooden, someone stiff, someone she would have to push through every conversation. But Dante was good at this. He kept one hand on her back when people came to talk to them. Light, gentle, just enough. He remembered every name she had told him in the coffee shop. When her uncle asked him about his work, he smiled, a slow, quiet smile, and said, international business. Her uncle nodded and asked no more questions. Something about Dante made people not want to ask more questions. He danced with her once. She had not planned that. The music started, and her little cousin pulled them both to the floor, and Dante just went with it. He was not a showy dancer. He just kept her close and moved slowly and made sure she did not feel alone on the floor. She had not felt that in a very long time. But the moment that broke something open inside her, the moment she did not expect, was with her grandmother. Her grandmother was 90 years old, tiny and slow, and the sharpest person in any room. She took Dante's hand in both of hers and looked at him, not smiling, just looking, like she was reading a book that nobody else could see. You have old eyes, she said to him, quietly. You have seen hard things. Dante said nothing, but he did not move. He did not pull his hand away. Take care of my Layla, the old woman said. She feels more than she shows. And Dante looked at her grandmother and said, very quietly, I know. Layla heard those 2 words and felt something move in her chest, something she did not have a name for yet. The parking lot. The dinner ended. The cake was cut. The lights went soft. It was time to go. They walked to the parking lot. It was dark and quiet out there, away from the noise and the music. Layla was tired in a good way. The way you feel after something hard turns out to be okay. Then 3 men stepped out of the dark. Big men. Quiet men. Expensive suits. Dead eyes. Layla felt the air change. She felt Dante change beside her. Not scared. Not nervous. Something else. Like a switch flipped inside him. Like the man who had danced with her and held her grandmother's hand had stepped back, and someone else had stepped forward. One of the men spoke. Low voice. Careful words. Mr. Caruso, the boss needs to see you tonight. Layla looked at Dante. Dante looked at the man. Tell him tomorrow, Dante said. His voice was the same voice, but it was not the same voice. He said tonight, Mr. Caruso. He said it cannot wait. There was silence. The kind of silence that is not empty. The kind that is full of things nobody is saying out loud. And then Dante said 3 words. 3 quiet words. I am the boss. The 3 men looked at each other. Something passed between them. Then they stepped back. One of them made a phone call. All 3 of them disappeared back into the dark without another word, like they had never been there. Layla stood completely still. Her heart was beating fast. She turned to look at Dante, and for the first time all night, Dante Caruso did not know what to say. The truth. They sat in the car. He did not start the engine. She did not ask him to. For a minute neither of them spoke. Then he said, my real name is Dante Caruso. She said nothing. She waited. When they say the boss, he said slowly, they mean me. I run things in this city. Things that are not normal things. Mafia, she said. He did not say yes. He did not say no. That was her answer. Layla looked out the front window. Her hands were in her lap. She was thinking about 3 men in the dark who stepped back from one sentence. She was thinking about the way people moved aside when Dante walked into a room. She was thinking about her uncle who asked no more questions. She was thinking about her grandmother. You have old eyes. You have seen hard things. Why did you answer my ad? She asked. Long pause. I don't know, he said. I saw it and I answered it. I haven't done something simple in a very long time. Something with no plan behind it. I just answered. Layla was quiet. Then she said, you were good tonight. Really good. He looked at her. My grandmother liked you, she said. She doesn't like anyone. Something crossed his face. Fast and quiet, like a light turning on somewhere deep inside a building. You didn't need me, he said. You were fine. You walked in there, and you handled everything. I just stood next to you. That was enough, she said softly. Sometimes that is all anyone needs. Someone to stand next to them. He looked at her for a long time. She did not look away. 3 weeks later, she did not expect to hear from him again. She went home. She put the $200 envelope back. He had slipped it back into her purse at some point during the night. She did not know when. She found it when she got home, still sealed. She thought about him for 3 days. Then she told herself to stop. On the 5th day, a black car stopped in front of her bakery. A man in a suit came inside. He placed a small box on the counter. He said nothing. He left. Layla opened the box. Inside was a book. Her favorite author. A first edition, old and beautiful and expensive. And underneath the book was a small note with 4 words written in dark ink. Bookstores have good memories. No name. No number. She stood in the bakery holding that book, and she felt something she had been holding away from herself for a very long time. Something warm and quiet, and a little bit frightening. She put the book on her nightstand that night. 3 more weeks passed. Her phone rang. Unknown number. She answered it. It's Dante, said the voice. I know, she said. Silence. Then, I want to take you to dinner. A real dinner. Not a job. Layla sat down slowly. Dante, she said carefully. You are a very dangerous man. Yes, he said. I am. She waited. Then he said very quietly, I also make my own pasta. She laughed. She did not mean to. It just came out, real and warm and sudden and completely herself. And across the city, in a building that made people afraid, Dante Caruso sat back in his chair, and he listened to that laugh. And something inside his chest, something that had been locked for years and years and years, moved. Just a little. Just enough. She said yes to dinner. She did not fully understand what she was stepping into. She did not know his world, the weight of it, the danger of it, the cost of it. She did not know the enemies he had, or the secrets he carried, or the price of loving a man like him. But her grandmother had told her once, the people with old eyes have the deepest hearts. You just have to be patient enough to find the door. Layla had always been patient, and Dante, for all his power, all his silence, all his darkness, had been waiting for someone who would knock without being afraid. She had paid $200 for one evening. She had no idea what it would cost her heart, and she had no idea, not yet, that it would be the best thing she ever lost. She said yes to dinner. 1 word, 3 letters, and just like that, her whole life changed direction. She thought it was just dinner, a table, some food, a man who made his own pasta and had kind hands and old eyes. She did not think about the black cars that followed them. She did not think about the men who stood outside the restaurant with their hands in their jackets. She did not think about the way every single person in that building looked at Dante, not with respect, with fear. She did not think about any of that, because nobody told her. Nobody told her that saying yes to Dante Caruso was not like saying yes to a normal man, that his world did not have normal edges, that the people who wanted to hurt him would not stop at him. They would come for her too, and they were already watching. Stay with us, because part 2 is where everything gets real. He sent a car for her at 7. Not a taxi. A car. Black. Clean. Silent. A man in a suit opened the door for her without making eye contact. Layla sat in the back and looked out the window and thought, this is already very different from any date she had ever been on. The restaurant was small, quiet, tucked between 2 buildings on a street she had never noticed before. No sign outside, no menu in the window, no noise from inside. She walked in, and every head in the room turned toward her. Then every head turned back down, like they had looked to check, and then decided she was allowed to be there. Dante was already at the table. He stood when she walked in. She had not expected that. He was wearing a dark shirt this time. No jacket, sleeves rolled up. He looked different. Still serious. Still tall. But something was slightly softer around the edges. Like he had tried, just a little, to be less of what he usually was. You came, he said. I said I would, she answered. He pulled out her chair. She sat down. He sat across from her. And for a moment they just looked at each other. The way two people look at each other when they both know this is something, but neither one wants to say it first. "Did you make the pasta?" she asked. "The kitchen here is mine," he said. "So yes." She smiled. He looked at that smile like it was something rare, like he was trying to memorize it before it disappeared. The food came. It was the best thing she had ever eaten. She told him that, and he did not say thank you. He just nodded slowly like he had already known, and was glad it was true. Not about his world. Not about the man outside. Not about what he did or who he was. They talked about small things. She told him about the bakery. How she had started working there at 19, and now she could make 17 different kinds of bread. He listened like bread was the most interesting subject in the world. He told her about Rome, where he grew up. A small street. A loud family. A grandmother of his own who made Sunday lunch that lasted 4 hours and ended in arguments, and then more food. Layla laughed at that, and Dante smiled, a real one this time, the kind that reached his eyes, the kind that made him look, just for a second, like a completely different man, like the man he could have been if life had turned left instead of right somewhere along the way. "You're different here," she said. "Here," he asked, "when it's just you, when you're not being whatever you usually are." He was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "Nobody has said that to me in a long time." "What? That you're different?" "That there's a difference," he said. Layla looked at him across the table, and she felt that thing in her chest again. That warm, quiet, frightening thing. She looked away first. The watchers. They left the restaurant at 9:30. The street was quiet. The black car was waiting. The driver stood by the door. Layla was telling him about a customer at the bakery, an old man who came every Tuesday for the same bread and always complained it was slightly too warm, and she was laughing a little as she talked, and Dante was listening with that quiet attention he had, and for one moment everything felt completely normal. Then he stopped walking. Just stopped. Like a wall. She stopped too. "What?" she started. "Don't look around," he said. Quietly. Calmly. "Keep talking to me." "Dante, what is?" "Keep talking," he said. "Look at me. Smile like everything is fine." She looked at him. She smiled. It was the hardest smile she had ever made. "There's a man," Dante said, his eyes staying on her face. "On the corner to your left. He has been there since we came out. He is not waiting for anyone. He is watching." Layla kept smiling. Her heart was going very fast. "And there is a car," Dante continued, "parked across the street. Same car that was outside your bakery this afternoon." She felt cold. "My bakery," she whispered. "Don't worry," he said. And the way he said it, quiet and certain and completely without fear, made her believe him even though every part of her was afraid. "You are safe. I need you to walk to the car. Normal pace. Don't look at anyone." She walked. Normal pace. She got in. The driver closed the door. Dante got in on the other side. The moment the door closed, he was different again. The soft version of him, the pasta, the Rome stories, the real smile, all of it went back somewhere. The man beside her now was cold and fast and completely focused.